All right, Frank, we're back for the most magical film on your list so far. Number 31 is A Little Princess. A Little Princess is a 1995 drama fantasy film directed by Alfonso Cuaron. It stars Liesel Matthews, Eleanor Bron, Liam Cunningham, Rusty Schwimmer, Vanessa Chester, Heather DeLoach, Taylor Fry, Kelsey Mulrooney, Errol Sidahall, and Arthur Mallet. A Little Princess is the story of Sara, a young woman from India whose father has to drop her off in a boarding school in New York City when he has to go fight in World War I for the English military. Sara befriends many of the people around the boarding school, and the boarding school is very happy to be taking the checks from her father's business that is running well while he's off at the front fighting. But when it comes back that her father has been killed in the line of duty, Sara's money is cut off, and now she has to work basically as a servant for the girls who she used to play with. And even though Sara is consistently put down by the headmistress and some of the more bullying girls at the school, her imagination keeps her spirits high and keeps her moving forward. So Frank, your thoughts on A Little Princess are? Huge fan of VHS trailers and always wanted to see this. Finally saw it a few years ago. Amazing. Check out the official Pogo remix of the film. Perfectly captures the spirit. So, A Little Princess goes yet again on that list of movies, like several that have come before it, where I saw it on this list and I thought to myself, he is going to make me watch this thing that I know I'm not going to be interested in. And then I watched it and it was great. And A Little Princess is fantastic. I loved it. It's just so well done, and the movie, even though it's a kid's film, it's a movie that can very much be enjoyed by adults. It's fantastical and it's magical, but it doesn't pander to the obvious jokes and script beats and things like that you would put in a kid's film. This is almost a film for more 11 to 13-year-olds instead of 5 or 6-year-olds. You know, this is when kids are starting to become adults, they're starting to mature, and I think that's why as an adult I can still enjoy it as much as a kid can. I thought the production design, I know that's probably a weird thing to start off with, but I thought the production design in this film was fantastic. I'm assuming that the boarding school that they're in is a set, but it just looked absolutely amazing. It looks exactly like one of those turn of the 20th century mansions that people like the Vanderbilts would have built there in New York City. It was gorgeous. The costuming was amazing. The direction was fantastic. Alfonso Cuaron the guy is just a natural at doing what he does. And that's part of the reason why I kind of gave into watching this. I mean, other than the fact that it's just on the list, so if it's on the list, I got to watch it. But, that was the one thing that stuck out to me was oh, it's Alfonso Cuarón, so maybe there's something there, and there absolutely was. It's just really good. It's just very enjoyable. The cast is great. Liesel Matthews, who plays Sara, is fantastic, which is crazy because I looked her up on IMDb when I was looking up the cast list for this, and she only has 3 credits total. This, Air Force One, and another movie that I've never heard of. So I'm guessing that she did this and she just realized that acting was not for her and dropped out.
So during the process of editing this video, I was curious about the fact that Liesel Matthews had only been in 3 movies. 2 pretty big films and 1 smaller film, and then seemed to basically just disappear. Well, as I was doing the research phase of making these videos, which is where I go through and, Google image search all the actors so I can get their pictures into it, I found a Hello Giggles article by Anna Graggart that is titled, "Here's What Happened to the Actress Who Played Sarah in A Little Princess." And this story is so crazy that I had to add it in to this video. It says here, once she graduated from Chicago's New Trier High School and enrolled at Columbia University, Simmons hoped to continue her acting career. However, the trajectory of her life quickly changed when she and older brother Matthew decided to sue the Pritzker family and their father for $500 million. This all came about because Liesel's father, Robert Pritzker, used his children's trusts to invest in the family holding company. When the cousins on this side of the family later split the fortune, both Liesel and Matthew were unfairly left out of the equation. Quote, "This is not about cash," Simmons told Forbes back in 2003. "It's not like I think if we win it'll be buy the Bentley bling bling. I filed because I wanted to know what happened. It's going to be tricky and it will take a long time, but I just need to know what happened." Though Matthew and Liesel received $500 million payouts, they lost something else, their privacy. To avoid the public eye, Simmons then moved to Dharamshala, India, where she volunteered at a children's nursery school and later worked to help heroin addicts using the healing power of yoga. During this time, Liesel realized, quote, "Maybe I had something to offer besides just my money." About 4 months later, Liesel returned to New York, where she did several things. Decided not to pursue acting, started cooking school, returned to Columbia, and gave her mom $50 million to start an education foundation. She's since been investing her funds in other projects with her husband Ian. Together, they travel the world looking for economic opportunities that will solve social and environmental challenges. Quote, "I didn't earn this money," asserts Liesel, "and I'll be damned if I'm going to screw it up." Wow. That's... that is a wild story. Back to the video.
But the young lady who plays her partner in crime when Sarah becomes part of the help, Vanessa Chester as Becky, is also amazing. Loved her too. Heather DeLoach is in it. She was the Bumblebee girl in that 90s music video for Blind Melon. All I could say is that my life is pretty plain, November Rain, something, I don't know. Anyway, you can look it up. You know which one I'm talking about. You've seen it. If you've ever seen MTV or anything, you've seen that video, I'm sure. Another young actress, Kelsey Mulrooney as Lottie, was hilarious. She would just like flip out and just like start screaming, and for some reason that made me laugh. I thought it was really funny. But yeah, like I said, I just thought the whole conceptualization of the film was really just top notch. I don't know. The thing is, like in 1995, I was not, I didn't know who anyone was in 1995. So Cuaron doesn't come onto my radar until maybe 10 years later, something like that. By that time he's already done this film. He's done a couple other films, So it's interesting to think about the kind of stuff that he's done that's more in my mind, which is like Gravity or Roma or, Children of Men, and to think that A Little Princess came from that, or those things came from A Little Princess. You can see the progression of talent that's going on there, and you could just tell that Cuaron had it from a very early age. Him and I think him and Del Toro are buddies, which wouldn't surprise me at all, because both of those guys have just an incredible eye for production design, the design of and look of their movies, and just getting a movie from all aspects, just basically craftsmanship, is what I would call it, just craftsmanship. Those two guys are amazing craftsmen. And you can see that craftsmanship all over A Little Princess. Would I recommend this movie? Absolutely. It's great whether you're, 10 years old or whether you're 30 years old or 50 years old or 100 years old. Like, it's great. It's a really well done, well acted movie, and it's enjoyable. The one complaint that I have about it is that it has some mid-90s CGI that does not look good at all, but it's kind of acceptable because it's all in the service of these sort of like fantasies or these stories that like Sarah is telling other people, so you can take it all with a grain of salt. It still looks like garbage, but at the same time, it's like, it's a fantasy, so whatever, It would be interesting if there was a way that they could go back into this movie and redo the CGI today. It would probably look amazing. Because the movie itself, all the live action stuff just looks timeless and gorgeous. So the cinematography in this is beautiful. But yeah, I would recommend A Little Princess to anybody. It's a fantastic film. I was even thinking while I was watching it, I was like, I should buy this for my niece, but she's still a little young for it at this point. I'll give her a couple of years and then I'll see if there's a Blu-ray or something of it. So yeah, so again, Frank, thank you for recommending this. It was a really surprise watch and I just enjoyed the heck out of it. Okay, so next on your list is number 32. It's a film that I've actually seen before and actually really like, but I had the pleasure of watching it at the New Beverly earlier this year. And actually, well, I don't know if I should say earlier this year, since I'm not sure if this video is going to come out in 2019. So I'll say earlier in 2019, I saw this movie at the New Beverly. It was Near Dark by Kathryn Bigelow, a fantastic and I think pretty original take on vampire movies. I think it's one of Bigelow's best, and it was on my 20 films, no, not 20 films, 10 films. It was on my 10 films that I would love to see on the Criterion Collection list. So right now, the Blu-rays and the DVDs are out of print, and they're very expensive. I don't know why, but anyway, hopefully Criterion will pick up Near Dark and, make a new Blu-ray out of it. So in the next video, number 32, you'll get to hear me gush about Near Dark for a little while. So anyway. All right, Frank, and whoever else is watching, thank you for stopping by. You can feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. Let me know what you think of A Little Princess. Frank, I already know what you think, but maybe you can go into more detail about how you feel about this movie. Anyway, have a good one, and I will see you next time.